I tend to talk a little fast. So if there's something that got bypassed in my section or any of theirs, it'll be on video that you can actually go back, play it back, see if there's something else you can get out of it. Which one's yours one?
No.
Oh, you heard about that. Nope. There we go. Here we are. That way, or that way.
Hey there. Thanks for having me here today. Before we start, just a couple questions. I just wanted to kind of assess people's general familiarity with Travelzoo. First of all, my name is Lynn Nugent. I'm a senior producer at Travelzoo. I've been with the company for about 4 years. And I've worked on multiple travel campaigns for everyone from resorts. Actually, Mike Wiley is sitting in the audience, former client of mine, when he was at Wyndham. Resorts, I work with vacation packagers, cruise lines, airlines, you name it. So I really cover the whole range at Travelzoo. But first and foremost, how many people in this audience are familiar with Travelzoo and have heard the name? Next question, how many people subscribe to our top 20 email? And then the final question, how many people have actually used Travelzoo as a client? A couple. Okay, great. First of all, this first slide is pretty basic. Who are we? First of all, we pride ourselves on being the largest publisher of travel specials on the internet. We're a media company. We don't sell travel. We actually promote travel specials. Everything that runs on our site or in our newsletter has to be an actual, very concrete special offer. Usually that means a limited time offer, very aggressive price, things like that. We're publicly traded now on NASDAQ. We have over 10 million subscribers worldwide. A couple media accolades there. Also, the exciting thing about Travelzoo is that we're really in the midst of a great expansion. Currently, we have offices in New York, Miami, Chicago, Mountain View, California, Las Vegas, and now we're overseas. We're in Munich, London, Barcelona, with more offices set to start. So, pretty global. Most of you who know Travelzoo are probably most familiar with our newsletter products. We have two specifically. One is the Top 20 newsletter. That goes out every Wednesday. It goes out to about 9 million subscribers. We also have what's called the News Flash, which is a geo-targeted product. And that reaches various regions across the United States. In total, we reach about 10 million. We have 10 million active subscribers. And that's a pretty impressive number. I remember when I started at Travelzoo, I think we were at about 2 million, and we thought that was a really big deal. The important thing about our list, and something that we really pride ourselves on, is that, number one, we don't buy lists. Every single person who's in our subscriber database has opted in. They've actually gone and subscribed themselves. Number two, our list is what we consider to be very clean, meaning that our IT department really carefully monitors bounce backs, and then once someone has bounced back a certain number of times, they're actually deleted from our list. Some other companies that you might hear from actually have sort of inflated numbers in their database because they don't clean the list regularly. So they might have subscribers in there that over time just are really inactive. We'd like to say that our media properties create a cohesive advertising mix. We have two things that would be of interest to you. Number one is our website, actually. We have a Travelzoo lodging section. It's separated into different categories. We have a lodging international, which would be appropriate for many of you in the audience. We also have a lodging resorts and spas. We also have a vacation section. Many companies that work with Travelzoo that are Caribbean hoteliers actually partner with their friends in the travel agent community, and they bundle offers with airfare, and they run in our vacation section. Oops. So really, what makes Travelzoo different? What makes it special? Basically, like I said, we drive bookings directly over to the advertisers, so we don't charge a commission, and our goal is to basically send you both traffic online and traffic by phone, and of course, the thing that matters the most, which is bookings. Another thing that makes Travelzoo very special, and this really speaks specifically to our top 20, is that when clients run a top 20, they come to us and they present a travel offer, whether it's a room-only rate for a Bahamas resort or whether it's a vacation package, let's say to Puerto Rico. The first thing that we do, we actually assign a producer to the account, and the producer does some really extensive research. I'm a producer myself, so I can tell you that we spend a lot of time researching these travel offers. So what we would do in the case of, let's say, a resort is we would actually look at how the resort is priced on other sites. So we might go directly to your site, how are you priced for the same time period? We would check all the third party. We basically put on the hat of Joe Average Consumer who might get the top 20 newsletter. They're probably going to research the offer to make sure it really does stand up. And where are they going to go? I mean, they're going to go to a lot of third-party sites, etc. Then we also look at what we call the comp set. So this isn't necessarily what, when we call you and say, hey, who's in your competitive set? We actually take a step back and we look at it from an outsider. So in other words, if your property, let's say, has 3 stars on Expedia and you're based in Punta Cana, we look at other 3-star properties in Punta Cana. And then we really provide that feedback to the resort or to the travel packager. And we say, listen, we feel like your deal, we can actually endorse it, and we want to endorse it as a top 20 deal of the week. Or we say, did you know that you're trying to push, let's say, a $99 rate direct? I can go to Orbitz, I can book your same property for $79. Or did you know that someone right down the street or across the road is actually selling for much less than you during the same time period? So that research is really crucial to the whole process, and that's part of the evaluation as well. And finally, a little known thing about Travelzoo, which is actually a big deal, is that we actually test the offers. We have a test booking center that sits in Chicago. So when you run a top 20 or when you run on the website, we're constantly checking the links, making sure it's bookable online, making sure it's bookable by phone. Every Wednesday before that top 20 goes out, we actually have a really strict system. We basically divide the entire list by all the producers. And you might see 20 deals. On the back end, because of the way we slice and dice the audience, there might be 150 deals. And every single one of those offers is produced. We pick up the phone, we call the call center, we pick some random dates, we find out what the call center has to say, we make sure it's really, really available. And it's amazing, because usually I'd say probably on average, 7 out of 10 times on those initial calls, either the res center isn't aware of the promo, or it can't be booked online. So it's really kind of a first line of defense. It helps the people that spend money with us make sure that their offers are really bookable. So when it does go out to this massive audience, when people call, they're going to have a really positive user experience with your company. So what really are the successful components of an offer that's going to perform on Travelzoo? I think these are really interesting because these apply to Travelzoo, but it's really kind of almost like a marketing 101 thing. We always say to clients, it's amazing. I'll sometimes see what clients will submit for top 20, and then I'll go directly to the client's own website, let's say the following week, and I'll look at what deals they're featuring for themselves. And it's interesting. Oftentimes, they'll kind of do the right thing when it's time for Travelzoo, but for their own self, they're not doing the right thing. So they may not have things messaged properly, or it could be really confusing. Oftentimes, when people go to your website and they go to your special section, which inevitably they're going to if they're looking for a special travel offer, they have some specific questions in mind. They want to know what the price point is, obviously. They want to know when it's valid. When can they book for $99? Or when can they go for $159? They also want to know blackout dates up front. They don't want to enter the booking process and then be surprised because the dates that they picked are not available. Another thing that helps is making something a limited time offer. Just putting up there, you must book by, within the next week or 2 weeks can really help people when they come to your site, really entice them to book. What makes it a special deal? If it's running on your site in a special section, what makes it special? Is it 20% off regular rates? Are you offering this, free spa credit? What is it exactly that makes this a great deal? Anyone that works at your resort or is familiar with your product is going to know why it's a good deal. But oftentimes, resorts aren't communicating to the public or to people that come to their website why something's a good deal. So that's really, really important. Also, a lot of cross-sell, upsell opportunities. This is also really relevant. People might be enticed by a $99 room for garden view, but if they know for just $30 more, they can maybe have an ocean view, or they can be on a club level floor or something like that. That can be very, very enticing. And then a clear call to action. That's the other thing that's obviously really, really crucial, both with Travelzoo and also with your own website and the specials you present to the public. You want to make it very easy for people to book. The one mistake I think some people make, or some companies make, is they'll make it online only, which I know there's different economics between online bookings oftentimes and phone bookings, but if someone picks up the phone and they're already engaged with your company and they want to book, it really behooves you to make sure that they can do that when they pick up the phone. I mean, they're already halfway there. They're already almost 90% there. They've selected your company, they've looked at an offer, they've picked up the phone, and they're ready to book. So making that available to them both offline and online. The one thing that Travelzoo does do here, obviously, is a critical lead generator. Our job is to send over traffic, as I said, both online and by phone. Another thing that Travelzoo brings to the plate, really, when you run with us, especially in the top 20, is you get that Travelzoo stamp of approval. We know that our audience, our subscriber base is very active. They're very active travelers. They tend to be double income, no kids. They tend to skew a little more affluent than the average internet consumer. And really what we do with the top 20 when we write these is we really try to tell you why it's a good offer, when it's available, and really put our stamp of approval on it. I think our audience at this point knows that if something's running in the top 20, they can research it all they want, and they're going to find out that it's a really, really good deal, because we make sure of that. Another thing to know, I mean, this is just if you run with Travelzoo or yourself, is again just be very cognizant of landing pages. Again, this is something that on your own websites, you want to make sure that on your landing pages that connect to specials that you have, that the offer is really clearly articulated. I think the one mistake a lot of companies make is they actually try to throw the kitchen sink at someone and give them a million different options. You want to make the messages really clear and really concise. I've already spoken about this actually, just sort of the endorsement element of it. So why would you use Travelzoo, or why would you want to, or how can it help you? That's really, I know, why you're all here. It's about driving incremental bookings, and I always say to clients that if you need help, for let's say hurricane season, that's probably a forbidden word in this room, but different times of year where you just know year after year demand is going to be a lot slower. You're going to want to stimulate demand. You're going to want to put offers in front of people that are going to make them want to take a trip that they had no plans of taking. I think that's really the magic of the top 20. This happens to me almost every single week. I'll get the top 20. I wasn't even planning on going to Bermuda, and the next thing you know, I'm like booking a trip for myself or my parents, because the offers that are placed in front of you are so compelling that you can't pass it up. And really, that's the goal. When you run with top 20, it's really looking at your needs. When do you really need the help? When are you going to need the help that you can start pushing out a really aggressive price now to stimulate that demand to get people actually booking at a time when they wouldn't have normally booked? Any questions so far? Pretty clear? Obviously, Travelzoo, is all about success and about driving results. I mean, here we have multiple different, we have airlines, we have cruise, we have everything. And it's really, what kind of success people has. I mean, obviously, it depends on a couple of things. It's really about the offer. Sometimes people come to us and they want to run an offer that's really not aggressive, or maybe it's like $10 more than everyone else in the comp set. And they want to push it out there, and it's really about being as aggressive as possible. And sometimes that means price. Sometimes that means price in combination with other things. Like I said, maybe a spa credit or a free upgrade. Whatever's going to help compel people to really get off their chair and really pick up the phone and call their husband or call their friends and say, "You're not going to believe this deal I just found. It's amazing. We have to go to Punta Cana. I mean, this deal, we weren't even going to go. I know it's the holidays, but let's try to get airfare down there, or let's just book this deal that includes airfare and leave next week because this deal is so incredible." This is just a little bit of what Travelzoo's advertisers have had to say. I'll kind of skip over that one. And that's basically it. I mean, it's really about Travelzoo is really about filling pockets of need that you may have. And it's about reaching a mass audience with the travel specials that you want to promote. The other thing I can tell you just from experience is that, my resort and hotel clients tell me all the time, the reason they really enjoy working with Travelzoo or like the Travelzoo audience is because this is an audience, and you probably know this too, I mean, these are people that are going to come to your resort. They're probably going to upgrade. They might be lured in by, we dangle that carrot, $79 or $99 or $159. But once they're actually engaged with you, whether it's online or by phone, they're going to book a better room. And then once they're on property, I just hear all the time that this is an audience. They're in the spa. They're going to be taking a lot of excursions. They do a lot of room service. I mean, there's a high amount of spend that they do. This type of audience does once they're on property. So it's a pretty powerful tool.
I was going to ask if there's any more questions.
Any questions?
Quiet.
Quiet audience.
That's okay.
Thank you very much, Lynn.